So that's the thing. You say AI, and I'm not alone. And we have been saying this since they gave the options. It's EA. Let's begin the show with the Utah Mammoth name finally being unveiled. And last Tuesday, we had eyes on it because of Clubbers and what's my guy's name? Jazzy Pinkman on Twitter. Like all of these Utah hockey sleuths finding out that the team name was going to be Mammoth. We now have it confirmed. As you said, Pete, we asked Bill Armstrong yesterday, and I don't know if he just had a good poker face or what. He just needs to use his regular face, and it charms the hell out of us. It is Utah Mammoth. We have the name, we have the logo, we have the jerseys. I would like to do it kind of bit by bit. We all know what everything looks like, but for purposes of this discussion, let's start with just the name and the logo. Pete, what do you think of, you're doing a what?
I just had one thought that I wanted to get out. I already thought that Bill Armstrong was very politician presenting. Like he's very well put together. He's very sharp, well spoken. He's also a good liar. So he is absolutely a politician.
See, I think he is more of a don't give me information that will get me in trouble kind of politician. I think there's a chance he genuinely didn't know that it was going to get released today because he wanted to stay out of it.
I think there's plausible deniability on the I stay out of it. That's above my pay grade.
I think it's funnier to call somebody a liar a day after they come on the show as a favor.
That's cool. Okay, let's start with the name and the logo. The name is the Mammoth. The logo is that. Pete, what do you think?
I like the name. I think the name is growing on me. I'm not a big fan of the logo, and I know a lot of people seem to like it, so I'm happy for them, I guess. The asymmetry of the logo kind of throws me off, and like the mountain range being combined with the mammoth, like it's a cool touch, but I just feel like this looks very I don't want to say like AI generated because there's a little bit more detailed to it than that, but it feels like very, very modern when that's not really what I like personally in my logos. I just feel like this one has a lot of like commissioned a Fiverr graphic designer to make me a like a logo for my EASHL hockey team kind of logo feel to it.
So that's the thing. You say and I'm not alone. And we have been saying this since they gave the options. It's EA to me. It's very EA Sports. It's very, you relocate the franchise. Here are the options. Here's what it can look like. I don't think it's the end of the world, but Sean has a point on this that I think is important to weigh.
I just think they like fell victim to being a team that was created in 2025. Like it feels like they were trying to be very modern and inoffensive and like kind of make something that like you can't really hate. Like even you don't like it, but you say you don't hate it. Like it's hard for you. It's like I said, inoffensive, which is fine. It just doesn't like make waves. It doesn't like do a whole lot for me.
Well,
I don't think it's bad though.
But Sean, you were saying that this is the worst time to make a logo.
Yeah,
because
like I said, like they fell victim to being a team that was created in 2025. Like it is like textbook clean and derogatory and like just not doesn't have a whole lot of character to it.
But you think like the lowest point in
branding. I think this is the worst time in history for logo design. Like it just
that's probably fair.
Like
and
that's the early 2000s, late 90s had like some bad logos, but at least they were trying stuff and like being adventurous. Like I'm thinking the NBA specifically. Now anything that comes up, I think just tends to be like they try and make it cleaner, again, derogatory and stuff like that. And it is what it is. I think if this team was created a decade ago, it'd have a wildly different imagery.
I also think that's why a lot of teams now are like going back to older looks, is that like they're seeing a lot of these newer efforts get panned and people hate like a lot of the minimalism things that are coming out these days. And when you're talking about Ryan Smith and teams that he owns, like he tried to rebrand the Jazz and make them super minimal and sleek and modern. And people hated that shit and basically bullied them into going back to what they had years and years ago. So like, I don't really trust Ryan Smith and his feel for like branding because he just feels very tech bro-y and very modern and like, how do you do, fellow kids? And that's what this has the feel of to me.
Yeah. I think that I will forgive that from Ryan Smith, though, given everything else we get from Ryan Smith. I think that so far
Fair.
he's an awesome owner, and I'm over the moon for that organization. Sean, could you give me the other logos? Because there's one that you were drawn to, and I agree completely. Go ahead.
I just think that the U with the tusk should have been the standalone logo. Like I think that as a logo is just cleaner, endearing. The mammoth could have been more of a shoulder patch, and I mean, like you have, like they're doing the Utah and stuff on the jersey. Like I just think that it's a better look to me. Like it's a little more. It's not as on the nose. Obviously, like the tusk is more of an alludes to the mammoth and stuff like that. Like I said, the main logo just does not do a whole lot for me. I think the Utah U as like a center ice logo, and then just keep on rocking with the Utah across both jerseys would have been my preferred path. I guess.
should note at this point, Sean, what is your background and education in these related fields?
Well, I have a degree in advertising with a emphasis in art direction. So I would say that by no means a professional, but I am uniquely qualified to talk about some of this stuff.
Yes. And I mean, I just tail you on all these things because the way my brain is artistic is that just I have bad ideas, and I get to say I'm just being a little artistic, and this is my thing. And Pete and I both know how to use Photoshop, but definitely trust your direction. Can you give me the jerseys, please? Give me the jerseys. And I agree on that the U with the tusk. That would be a great primary logo. So the jerseys we have an entirely new, and make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and watching on YouTube because audio-wise, this could be a little underwhelming. You have a completely new home jersey. You have an altered road jersey, and the lettering is completely new. Let's focus on the home jersey for now. It's basically what this year's home jersey was, but instead of it saying Utah, it has that logo, which is not amazing to me. I do think the lettering is kind of interesting, though. Pete, what do you think?
The lettering's interesting. I don't like hate any of it. I just think that I don't love the logo, and I don't think it looks great as the crest on the jersey. And sort of the same way that the stars being like asymmetrical and sort of leaning one way kind of bothers me. Same thing with this. I do love the shoulder patches, like the Utah State outline logo with the hockey stick.
Huge fan of that one.
Big fan. My biggest problem here is that they're keeping the same exact base jersey from the inaugural season. Because like when these came out, and I like said this too bland for me, people were like, well, it's just a placeholder jersey. It's just a template jersey. And they didn't make any changes to it. Like I know that the Avalanche do the mountain range at the bottom. Like having any sort of mountain range elements to the striping would have been cool and appreciated. It just feels all together like kind of bland.
I think that they I think they would have been oops all mountains if they had a mountain range below a mountain range logo.
That also just would not have been minimalist enough for them. I will say the one thing about Ryan Smith being a tech bro and all that, and I think you've seen it with the Utah Jazz, is that like he is not going to get stuck in his ways. Like I think if you give it a few years and this just kind of isn't working, like he will change. And you've seen that like Utah's branding, the Jazz's branding, I feel like has been wildly inconsistent over the last decade, and that is a product of him switching things and then realizing it's not working and going. So I think there's still, even though like this was supposed to be the permanent jersey, like I think you give it a few years, you'll see this kind of adapt and stuff like that. But I agree, the shoulder patch rocks, and I don't think the mammoth works as a crest on a jersey.
Okay, let's talk about the road jersey. And this is an interesting one because we love the Utah Hockey Club road jerseys, and Sean has a good AB up there with them, where on the left you see the Utah Hockey Club road jersey, and on the right you see the Utah Mammoth road jersey. Essentially the same thing, except they smashed that italic, that faux italics button on Photoshop.
But not on the captaincy, just on the Utah.
Right. That's a little inconsistent. I could see how that might kind of hurt your eye there. And the lettering it's not just like an italic or a fake italic. The lettering and like the slant.
Yeah, the bridges on the A and the H are slanted. Like I like the font. I think it looks good. It's a fine little update to it. It's just weird that it's like not a massive change from the original one. So you're gonna have to like kind of do like a little bit of a double take when you see these jerseys whether or not they're the one from the inaugural year two. It's a little odd to me, but it's not. Again, none of this like offends me. It's all fine.
That I like though, and especially when the Utah Hockey Club jersey that we have pictured there does not have the inaugural patch that if you go to the games you can get, and we have that on ours. I think that the slight difference when you go to a game and see them in person will be amazing. You will feel like such a gangster endearing when you are at a game and you've got the inaugural season Utah Hockey Club jersey. Sean's handing it to me right now. With the like this dressed up with the patches versus the new one clears. And I'm not just saying that in like an immediately nostalgic way. I think that this was such a hit and everyone agreed it was so good that it probably changed their plans for what they were going to do on their road jersey, to be like, you know what, we got to make it like just an updated version of this.
Yeah, I mean, and I do like I will say those jerseys definitely grew on me over the course of the season. Like I didn't like them at the beginning because I didn't want another primary black team. I didn't want like that sort of boring baseline logo. I wanted a little bit more purple incorporated, and I'd still like a little bit more purple incorporated into this team. But like that color scheme works. I liked the jersey. It kind of grew on me over time. So maybe this will too. Sean, do you have the one that I sent you with the state outline as part of the element for the logo? Like that I love, which is it's the state outline of Utah built into the logo, and it has the M worked in and the mountain range worked in. Like that to me, that should be isolated and used a lot more. Like that on a hat or any sort of merch.
Stadium Series jersey.
Yeah, or like a shoulder patch. That alone, that thing rocks, and that's creative and simple, but also has a lot of thought to it.
Yeah, I think that this has put them in a position where they can do a lot of things. Like there is directions to grow from this in the future, which I think is good. I don't think they've like shoehorned themselves into something all that specific. And again, like I have to imagine, especially knowing how Ryan Smith has been approaching this ownership, they're going to end up with an outdoor game at some point soon, and we'll get a look at kind of how they view the brand outside of what we see currently.
We all silly like the mayor.